I have a question about what you earlier said about influencing with the thoughts and magic, because in my understanding, it happens all the time that you influence each other with your actions, and your action comes from your thoughts. So, can you please explain a little bit more about this?
What I'm addressing is the difference between the kind of influence, and by the way, bestowal, the Hebrew word for bestowal, ashpa'ah, also means influence. The difference between what Kabbalah means by influence and the influence of an intention or a thought on reality or on society and so on, and the definition of influence and even the definition of thought or desire in our material way of viewing things. Yes, we do feel that we influence each other on the material level. And that's strictly the force of society, because we are really like a hive of bees. We are not responsible actually for anything. We think that the thoughts that we have, and I said this before, originate in us. They don't. So even though we think that we're having a thought, uh, and and it's influencing another person, or a group of people are having a thought and it's influencing other people, on the level that we're complete in the material level, we're completely incarcerated, embedded into a material level that is 100% managed by nature. And the influences that we feel and the ones that we think originate in us are actually waves moving through the hive of humans that's coming from our unconscious, unevolved connection with the upper force. These aren't ours in any way, and we don't correctly perceive cause and consequence. We're seeing cause and consequence actually just moving on a horizontal plane that way. Kabbalah is talking about an influence that is above the physical level, that is on the true causal level, and that lines up in such a way that our thoughts become identical with the thoughts of the Creator, consciously, not unconsciously. Here on the physical level, those perceptions of influence they're neither influence nor effect. It's not to say that we're not experiencing those things as though they were like that, but we're not talking about, Kabbalah is not talking about this egoistic level of life. It's talking about how we rise to the level of forces that manage the entire physical level. And those types of influences have got to do with rising to a completely other connection, in which we have the same thought and the same action at the same time as the Creator or the upper force does. But all of those things that you're saying, they are true, but they are on a material level. They have nothing to do with spirituality. The influence that Kabbalah talks about is a spiritual influence. Here, all kinds of phenomena on this level, including psychic phenomena and all that stuff, has nothing to do with it. It's all just more and more subtle levels of egoistic life. And they're very subtle ones that we don't necessarily track. It just depends on the quality of the person, their sensitivity. But Kabbalah is speaking about another thing. So yes, you're right, but it's not actually influence.